All right, friends. Hey, let's try again. I don't know what's going on with our tech lately, but we'll see what we can do one more time. Thank you for your patience of trying to get whatever's going on here. So, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing all right. I'll give it a minute, and then we'll just get going, and maybe you can catch it on the backside. So. My apologies to everybody. We'll give it a sec for a few people to kind of come along. A great Sunday planned. We are going to be looking at the lesson of the unrighteous steward, or the dishonest manager, depending on how you take it, and we'll be celebrating baptism. We have a great Sunday coming up at 10 o'clock on Sunday, so hope you'll be a part of that. And it is also the start of Sunday school, so we are going to be spending a little time and celebrating our kids as they come back from first Sunday school. So hope to great little Sunday planned. All right, friends, let's get going. Hopefully people will find their way back. It is the 18th day of September on this Thursday at 11:11-ish. So welcome back, and hope that you are finding your well. It's been a heavy week. There's so much chaos and heaviness. It feels heavy, and so I wanted to talk. So today I want to lighten it up a little bit. Well, not really. Am I ever light? I don't know. Maybe. Hi, Vicky. Glad you made it back. Hey, Yvette. Glad you're here. Hopefully people will find their way back. Some reason our tech has been getting us. But we have been. But it's been a heavy week with kind of the violence and around us, and all the acrimony that is created, all that is kind of plugging its way. So I want to look at kind of the world something a little lighter today, but we'll see. Maybe it's not going to be lighter at all. I'm kind of like that. So anyway, but there is on Netflix right now the #1 movie, which is actually kind of turned into the #1 movie in the world. It is anime, and it is K-pop. It is called K-pop Demon Hunters. That's right, you heard me correct. It is called K-pop Demon Hunters. It's the soundtrack alone. So it is not only K-pop Demon Hunters, but it is a musical. So it has animated singing. Yes, think Asian Disney, kind of something like that. And it has the soundtrack alone. I want you to hear this, because I've never heard this figure before about any piece of art ever created. The soundtrack alone has 1 trillion downloads, 1 trillion listens. 1 trillion, that's with a T. That's 1,000 billion. These songs have been listened to on this planet. It is the #1 movie in not just on Netflix, but throughout the globe right now. K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, so the story is this. There are these 3 K-pop stars there. So if you don't know what K-pop is, K-pop is Korean pop. That in the middle of Korean pop is this moment when is this particular genre of pop music in Korea. And it has a particular sound to it. It's extremely catchy, and it sounds like it's generated by AI. If you ask me, it has this really particular sound to it. But you know it when you hear it. And so K-pop Demon Hunters is exactly what it sounds like. It is these 3 female K-pop stars, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. And Rumi, Mira, and Zoe are a part of this long line of demon hunters, and that their music is a part of the way that they hunt and fight demons. And so they're out. So it's demon hunting. How can I not talk about demon hunting? The first thing that I most love about this is simply that the most popular movie in the whole globe right now is a conversation about demon hunting. I'm okay with that. And so it begins with this story of these three K-pop stars, superstars, putting on concerts, and at the same time, and during their Clark Kent existence and their Superman existence, they're out there slaying demons to protect their fans and to protect the greater ethos of the world, the way the kind of almost like the mood of the world, the spiritual quality of the world, which they are. And the demons, when they come around, because what they want to do is they want to feed on the fans. That's their whole goal, is to suck their fans into hell. And so these three are so the devil figure in this Guima, this hellmouth kind of character, has all of his demons assembled, and so they create a boy band. And this boy band is this deceptively disguised as demons, and that they're demons, but they're shiny, they're pretty, they're everything a boy band should be, and in all of that they end up kind of having this clash. There is this thing. There is this battle, but the whole subtext is the leader of Huntrix, the leader of the hunters, is half demon. So I'm not giving it away. The movie tells that quite quickly, early on. But the half that Rumi, the leader of the demons, is in fact half demon. That she was the byproduct of a love affair between her mother, who was a demon hunter, and her father, who was a demon, and her mother, who died young, and her father, demon father, that we don't know where he is, and her adopted mother, who tries to spend her life covering up this reality of her being half demon. Now, and the whole movie becomes this confrontation with her demonic part, and and then what happens with that. Now, there's actually been a lot of commentary on this. I will spare you what other big thinkers have thought about this. I don't know how many of you have seen it. I'm not necessarily recommending it, but it's an interesting thing to me. It's an interesting thing to me that this whole story is that the most popular story right now is this story about demon hunting, and then in the middle of it is this most popular story of contending with a spiritual reality. And I want to talk about the main character's kind of problem, because I think it does. I've heard a number of different commentaries on this, some Catholic commentaries, some Orthodox commentaries, some Protestant commentaries, and they all kind of like, some are very hand-wringing in terms of like, here she is accepting her demon part, and this is kind of a terrible thing in the world, and that somehow in this, part of the confusion of the world. But I actually read this differently, and I want, because I think there is this way in which if we there's a great quote that says, if in order to be rescued from hell, we must first realize that we are there. And I think that speaks to us. In order to be rescued from our own base parts, from maybe we have a temper, maybe we've got some some other passion that possesses us. Maybe we like too much cheesecake. Maybe we fail to take care of ourselves. We have avarice, and we're envious all the time. Maybe there's any number of things that can afflict us. There's a whole raft of them. We know what they are, but those base passions, as we call them, or otherwise known as the world that dwells within us, the first thing we have to do is name that it's there. if we don't, if we can't name that it's there, and the whole movie arc about K-pop demon hunters is that she's trying to hide this reality, and I'm not, it's not that we should display the reality of our most base desires, like that's not what we're, clearly that's not what we need to do. That's not going to, we actually see that played out in the world, that, right? We see people who are completely and utterly possessed by their passions, and they're out there living it out in the world. And that's largely what demons are. Like we know what that looks like. We can meet those characters in the course of our day. But there is this way in which we have to encounter it and then subjugate it. We have to put that, because but we first have to encounter it. To be lifted out of hell, we must first and we must first admit that we are there. We must first admit that we've got some hellish desires on board. And it does, again, the instinct, which I love about K-pop demon hunters, is the instinct is to cover that up. The instinct is to look like zero defect. The instinct is to make sure everything looks good. The instinct is that everything looks like our Facebook world and doesn't look like our real world. That our Instagram feed, that our life looks more like our Instagram feed than our actual life. And that doesn't mean we need to put all that on display, but it means we personally need to contend with it. And as this unfolds, it's, there are two kind of schools of thought with this. That one is, it's kind of this, I'm out and I'm loud and I'm proud, and this is who I am. There's this kind of identity declaration to the world that she is accepting who she is. But I don't think that's actually what's happening. Because here's the thing, and if you haven't seen K-pop demon hunters, this might all be awful for you, but I want to speak into it because it literally is the most popular movie on the planet. It literally has a soundtrack that has been downloaded 1 trillion times, trillion with a T, 1,000 billion times. These songs have been listened to. That it is a part. Even if you haven't heard this movie, it is a part of our zeitgeist, of our culture, and the world in which we live. Even if you never see the link or the billboard for it. So billboard, listen to me. Like, I'll go get my walker now and make a cup of tea. Good Lord. I want to talk about this because it really kind of comes down to this, and it's even of the conversation with in the wider culture. It comes down to these two things. One, that she is kind of out and loud and proud, and she has her demon self on board, and that's okay. That she's transformed by her demon self, and you kind of see that in the movie a little bit. But here's the thing: demons are demons, not because they just happen to be born in the wrong place, or they happen to give way to, they made a mistake. Demons are demons because of what they do, and their inability and unwillingness, and their actual lack of desire to repent and be better. Because what we find in the story, and there's some beautiful themes. There's a beautiful Christ theme in the whole story, which you'll see. Like, it's blatant when it comes to the theme. So I'm not going to tell you the whole story, because if you want to watch it, I want you to be able to really enjoy that. But there is this quality of this main character, Rumi, identity around her demonic self and her demon hunting self, and this difference and this thing gets interpreted two different ways. One, that kind of I'm out and I'm loud and I'm proud kind of idea, and this other part of that she has this instinct, but it is subjugated and put into it as a part of her whole being, and it is present, but is not fully who she is. And that because what makes demons demons, what makes angels angels are what they do. And what angels do is they repent and they turn back towards God. They are loving. They are kind. They bring peace. They defend those who are less than, and who are they fight in defense of the good and the true and the beautiful. They are bringers of peace and innocence. They are declarers of God's love for the world. Those are some of the roles of angels. Demons are the absolute opposite of that. They are the destroyers of all peace. They are destroyers of all good. They, just like they do in the movie, they feast on what is not good, what is good and true and beautiful. They destroy innocence. They want nothing more than to take joy in the destruction of that which is true, good, and beautiful. Demons are demons because of what they do. And what you see in the movie, which I think some of the commentators on these movies get so wrong, is that, and what they miss is the fact that at the end of the movie, and this I will spoil for you, is Rumi actually, yes, she recognizes she has this demonic part, but what she does do is that demonic part does not begin to participate in it. Now she kind of confronts it, and sometimes it flares up. There's certain moments where she's like, oh, if I follow that, this is what that's going to look like. But she turns away from it, and she continues to be a demon hunter, except she has these things on board. And friends, I think that is the human condition. I think this silly animated movie that has captured everybody's imagination is because it's speaking to us on a level that is really the human condition, and it's the human condition right now. The great Alexander Solzhenitsyn, probably one of the greatest commentators on I would say the rise of the demonic in the world, because he was a part of the rise of communism in Russia, what happened under communism in Russia, what happened as the Bolsheviks came into power, what happens when anywhere between 40 to 90 million of their countrymen were sent off to gulags. He being one of them, by the way. He spent 14 years in a gulag and till he finally was escaped and came to the West. One of the greatest intellectual minds of what that looks of what the confrontation of these systems that would consume us look like. And he says this about kind of resisting it. He says about how these things are confronted, and I think they really do speak even to the events of these past weeks. He says this: if only it were all so simple. If only we were evil people somewhere assiduously committing evil deeds, and it were necessary only to separate them from the rest of us and destroy them. But the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. Read that again. The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. And who is willing to destroy a piece of his own heart? What Solzhenitsyn is talking about is our invitation to the cross and the resurrection of Christ. We do have to lay it down. We do have to admit somewhere inside of us there's an impulse to destroy us. There's an impulse to destroy something in the world. There is an impulse to destroy what is true, good, and beautiful, in whatever form that comes from us. Maybe we just don't react. I don't know what it is for you, and but we all got it. And the question is, we all have this line that runs down through the human heart between good and evil. And the question becomes, who is willing to destroy his own heart? And it's not but it is through the cross that we are made new. It is through that self-sacrificing love that we can have a little part of that will actually bring us into the larger realm in which the very demons will flee from us. You see, because it's not so much about destroying demons. And James 4 says that this way. It says, therefore, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Friends, I hope you'll check out K-pop Demon Hunters, if you're into that sort of thing, if you're willing to sit through it, it is definitely like it is a Gen Z creation, and it is and this Gen X kid, like this Gen X 56-year-old dude actually sat on the couch and watched it and found meaning in it. And I think and the themes that are in it, but also this basic and real notion that and just about of its popularity, that if you want to understand something of the world today, I think this is the conversation that we're having in this kind of childish, stupid little movie is a symbol and a sign of the wider conversation of what are we to do with ourselves in the midst of a world that seems like it needs defending. What are we to do in a world that seems like we need that seems to more and more both have us want to run for the hills and at the same time desperately need our input and our desire to be a part of it, that desperately needs us to be a part of it and desperately needs us to be in the fight, loving that which is good, caring for that which is right, holding up that which is true, good, and beautiful in each other, but mostly in ourselves. Because if we lose it in ourselves, it doesn't matter where we find it in the world. If we lose it in ourselves, it doesn't matter how good a demon hunter we are. We will, in fact, lose it for everything. And so, friends, my hope for you is maybe this little story can give you a little courage, can give you a little strength, and probably will give you some stupid earworm to listen to that you won't be able to shake out of your head. So, friends, I hope in the days ahead you will not be afraid of that line that goes down the heart of every human being between good and evil. Don't be afraid of that line, because know that it has already been crossed, and that the battle is already won, and Christ is already victorious over all of those things. It is simply for us to submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from us. Peace and grace to you all, my friends, and we'll pick it up next week. We have a great worship service coming up on Sunday. We have a baptism. We have the start of Sunday school. It's going to be a great Sunday. Hope you can join us 10 o'clock, 282 Rock Street, or here online. Peace and grace to you all, and we'll pick it up next week with another 11:11.